Hello and welcome back to Angular-2 Masterclass with Alejandro Rangel. In this short video, we will talk about block scoping with LED. So, what is that? If we take a look on the left side of the slide, we have a ES5 JavaScript code, and we can see that if we console.log and a variable that is not defined, it's going to be undefined. That's acceptable. That's what we are expecting, right? Then we define the variable x inside a if code. This if code is just an example, but it could be a while loop, a function, for anything. But we define the variable x inside this if, inside this scope. Once we are outside the if we try to print this x variable again, then the value that we print is hello world. And this shouldn't be like this, okay? Because we are defining the variable inside a specific scope, inside the if, and this is a problem, a very big problem of global variables in JavaScript version 5, in ES5. In ES6, there is a new way to define variables, that is with the keyword let. So if we do let x inside the if, inside this scope, once we are outside the scope of the if we try to print the variable x, so doing the console.log, we see that, it's still undefined. Why? Because we are not anymore inside the if. This way, if we have a x defined before or afterwards, we will have a compiler error, and also it will say, this is a value that is outside, so we can have an x value from a different scope or inside. So let's take a look on this in Babel and let's see what's the result. Okay, so here we are. Let's do first an example. This is ES5, 5. So if we do if true, this is just for creating a scope, and here we define a variable x test, and we try to print this outside the scope. We can see that the value that is printed is test, right? But what happens if we define this as a let? Now x is not defined. So that's exactly as we can see here. When we are inside the scope of the if, the variable is going to be different from the variable that is outside. Remember that this is transpile, so what is Babel is trying to generate a valid ES5 code based on our ES6 version, right? But in reality, once browser support ES6 natively, then we will have the type, the keyword let out of the box. So this is a nice feature. And let's see what happens if we have variable x here and we put other value. Okay, that's nice, right? As you can see, we can define a variable x, then we have another variable x, but this one, it's inside another scope, and once we try to print the x, it's going to be the one that is in this scope, right? The one that is defined at this level. So if we try to print here the x, which x we will have? We will have, we come here, then we have text, we print x, so we print test, and once we are outside of the scope, it's other value. So this is a super cool feature from ES6, and hopefully we can see this in all browsers very soon. The other nice cool feature to have from ES6 is block scoping with const. So far in ES5, we don't have constant. So if we try to define a value like p that won't change at all, we just have to tell all developer, this is a constant, or most developers develop a convention like if this variable is written with capital case, this is a constant or stuff like this, but all of them are workaround to the lack that there is no constants in JavaScript in ES5. So in ES6 they introduce a new keyword that is const, and if we try to change this value, then you will have a compiler error. You will have an error. So let's try this also in Babel and let's see what happens. So this was the code before, and let's do, well, it's pretty obvious, but let's try in this, in ES5. So we have P or pi, 3.14, it's missing the equal. So now if we try to change the pi, so now it's 3.718. Yeah, everything is expected to be working, right? Nothing happened. We are just changing the value of a variable. That's it. But let's try ES6. So if we do const and we try to change the value of a constant, as we can see here, we get an error. Pi is a read only. So once the browsers implement this feature, we will be able to write variables, and then it won't be possible to change this. Okay, so I hope that you are excited as me with these new 2 features for scoping, and see you in the next video.